Le saison 5 est en production, which I believe means season 5 is in production of Stranger Things. To which the Stranger Things writers replied, "No, we're not. We're on strike. Are you okay, France?" Now, the interesting thing here is that you would think that of every country, of all the countries out there, France would be the one country that really understands a protest or strike. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be once again returning to r/quityourbullsh, a subreddit dedicated to people lying and people being called out on those lies. Let's take a look, shall we? No, before we begin, I will be live in 2 hours as of this video going up, so come check out the stream. Probably be streaming Deep Rock Galactic, but who knows what I'll be streaming. So yeah, twitch.tv/BlueTheNerd. Come check out the stream. Now we'll take a look at the subreddit. My boyfriend just cheated on me. What Bladey song do I play? I don't really want to listen to Ever Since right now. I'm kind of burnt out on it. I'm currently just blasting Western Union on repeat. Man has had a Friends with Benefits the past 5 months. That became stroke territory at the end there. According to your post history, you're 16 and 20, are actively in both a long distance relationship, cheating, and dating a 20-year-old. Seems legit. I don't understand these lies. Like, I don't understand lying about having partners, being in breakups, all of that kind of thing when you're not. Like, what do you gain from it? Just karma? It's a really weird thing to lie about for karma. I don't know. It's just weird to me. Once had a woman tell her son, who kept pulling his shorts down, "If you don't stop, the man is gonna get your willy." No, I'm fucking not. Don't go saying that shit out loud. Jesus Christ. Did ya? Or are you stealing someone else's patter from almost a decade ago? Sorry, apologies for my Scottish accent. Just seen a bird shouting at her bairn to put his pants on, then pointed at me saying, "Look, that man's gonna steal your willy." What the f***? No, I'm no. Again, apologies for the accent. I like the 2-in-1 here of a cross between Scottish people Twitter and Quit Your BS. Homie. Oh crap. Yeah, I need to grab my glasses prescription. Whoops. Yeah, the crossover between the two there is a fun one. Also, apologies, the lighting has drastically changed. It just suddenly got really sunny outside, so my camera's brighter. But yeah, once again, weird story to steal, to be honest. It's a bit of a weird one. Questionable choice. Right, so this next one it's a lot of parts because it's to do with Steve, I've forgotten his last name, the CEO of Reddit, Spez. This is to do with him and to do with the Reddit API changes. And it's a long post full of quit your bullshit where a big company that's being affected by this has talked about it. This is Apollo, who makes a big, massive Reddit API, is being drastically affected by this. So let's just go and read this. So to start with, this is actually lower down in their post, but I felt like this was a good place to start. They said, "I was assured this year by Reddit, not even that long ago, that no changes were planned to be made to the API Apollo uses. And I've made decisions about how to monetize my business based on what Reddit has said. In January 2023, 6 months ago, Reddit. So I would expect no change. Certainly not in the short to medium term. And we're talking like order of years." Another portion of the call, Reddit. "There's not going to be any change on it. There's no plans to touch it right now in 2023. Me, fair enough. And if we do touch it, we're going to be improving it in some way." So I'm going to then follow that statement up with, "On April 18th, Reddit announces changes that would be coming to the API, namely that the API is moving to a paid model for third-party apps." Now, this was only, what, 4 months? 4 months after Reddit stated that there was going to be no changes? Shortly thereafter, we received phone calls. However, the key element on the announcement to move to a paid API was notably missing, with the intent to follow up with it in 2 to 4 weeks. The information they did provide, however, was, "We will be moving to a paid API as it's not tenable for Reddit to pay for third-party apps indefinitely." Understandable, agreed. So they're looking to do equitable pricing based in reality. They mentioned that they are not looking to be like Twitter, which has API pricing so high it was publicly ridiculed. I was expected to hear these statements as I agree that long-term Reddit footing the bill for third-party apps is not tenable, and with a paid arrangement, there's a great possibility for developing a more concrete relationship with Reddit, with better API support for users. I think this optimism came across in my first post about calls with Reddit. The price they gave was 24 cents for 1,000 API calls. I quickly inputted this in my app and saw that it was not far off Twitter's outstandingly high API prices at $12,000, and with my current usage would cost almost $2 million per month, or over $20 million per year. That is not an exaggeration. This is just multiplying the 7 billion requests Apollo made last month by the price per request. Could I potentially get that number down? Absolutely, given some time, but it's illustrative of the large cost that Apollo would be charged. Why do you say Reddit's pricing is too high? By what metric? Reddit's promise was that the pricing would be equitable and based in reality. The reality that they themselves have posted data about over the years is as follows. Less than 2 years ago, they said they crossed $10 million in quarterly revenue for the first time ever. If we assume, despite the economic downturn, that they've managed to do this every single quarter now, and for your best quarter you've doubled it to 20 for 200 million, let's also be generous and go far above the industry estimates and say you made another 50 million in Reddit premium subscriptions. That's 550 million in revenue per year. Let's say an even 600 million. In 2019, they said they hit 430 million monthly active users, and to also be generous, let's say they haven't added a single active user since then. If we do revenue per calculations, the more users and less revenue each user would contribute. So at generous estimates of 600 million and 430 million monthly active users, that's $1.40 per user per year, or 12 cents monthly. These own numbers they've given are also seemingly in line with industry estimates as well. Apollo's price would be approximately $2.50 per month per user, with Reddit's indicated cost being approximately 12 cents per their own numbers. A 20 times increase does not seem based in reality to me. This is where it really gets wild. So first of all, they've lied about being grounded in reality, they lied about not having changes, and this is where it really gets crazy. Bizarre allegations by Reddit of Apollo blackmailing and threatening Reddit. About 24 hours after the call out with Reddit, I received this odd message on Mastodon. Can you please comment publicly about the internal Reddit claim that you tried to blackmail them for $10 million payout to stay quiet? Then yesterday, moderators told me they were on a call with CEO Steve Huffman, that's his name, or Spez, and he said the following per their transcript. Steve, Apollo threatened us, said they'll make it easy if Reddit gave them $10 million. This guy behind the scenes is coercing us. He's threatening us. Wow. Because my memory is that you didn't take it as a threat, and you even apologized profusely when you admitted you misheard it, it's very easy to take a single line and make it look bad by removing the rest of the context. So let's look at the full context. I can only assume you didn't realize I was recording the call, because there's no way you'd be so blatantly lying if you did. As said, a common suggestion across the many threads on this topic was, if third-party apps were costing Reddit so much money, why don't they just buy them out like they did Alien Blue? That was the point I brought up. If running Apollo, as it stands now, would cost you $20 million yearly, as you quote, I suggested you cut the check to me to end Apollo. I said I'd even do it for half that, 10 million. What a deal. The bizarre thing is, initially on the call you interpreted that as a threat. Even giving you the benefit of the doubt that maybe my phrasing was confusing, I asked for you to elaborate on how what you found what I said to be a threat, because I was incredibly confused how you interpreted it that way. Your response was, hey, if you want this to go away, which is not at all what I said. So I reiterated that and said, if you want Apollo to go quiet, as in it's quite loud in terms of API usage. What did you then say? Me. I said if you want Apollo to go quiet, like in terms of, I would say it's quite loud in terms of the API usage. Oh, go quiet as in that. Okay, got it. Sorry. That's a complete misinterpretation on my end. I apologize. I apologize immediately. The admission that you mistook me and the 4 subsequent apologies led me to believe that you acknowledged you mistook me and were apologetic. The fact that you're pretending none of this happened or was recorded and instead espousing a different reality where instead of apologizing for taking it as a threat, you're instead going the complete opposite direction and saying he threatened us is so low I almost don't believe it. But again, I've recorded all my calls with you just in case you tried something like this. transcript of the call. This is probably the most wild one of all of it, is that they're trying to claim that he threatened them, that Apollo threatened Reddit. I mean, this is Spez we're talking about, so like anything he says at this point has to be taken with a grain of salt. He's a liar, straight up, and we're gonna cover another point about something that he straight up lied about and did in the past. But Spez lies, and Spez has lied in an interview by saying that they threatened him. So this is the CEO of Reddit, and this is what they're doing. So they're not only pushing drastically high costs of APIs onto the people making the APIs, but they're damaging the website and then blaming the people making the APIs for it. And like, I want to go into a little bit about how this affects Reddit, okay? Because some people will be like, okay, but why do subreddits go down if the APIs go down, right? And it comes down to a huge part of Reddit is volunteer work, right? So a large amount of the people that work with Reddit, a large amount of the moderators, in fact, all of the moderators, all of the people that post on Reddit, the people that have to moderate the posts, all of the subreddits in general are maintained for free by volunteers, right? Moderators volunteer, the subreddits are up by people that create them, and the posts are there going up for free by people that post them, okay? That's a lot of work to do for free for moderators, especially in some huge subreddits, you know? D&D memes, for example, has hundreds of thousands of members, and the moderators have to moderate that for free. APIs help moderate. They help you keep track of a subreddit, they help you moderate it, manage it, everything. Reddit has argued that like accessibility APIs and moderation APIs won't have this, but that comes down to what they consider to be that, okay? So already we have moderation is going to be much more difficult and much more work, which people are already doing for free. Now, this is Reddit's most worthy asset, okay, is the amount of free work they have. So they're throwing that under the bus. Because all in all, the whole situation is wild. I implore anybody to look this up and read about it and to read what people are saying about it, because it's ridiculous. But the way Reddit is handling this, making lies about APIs threatening them, all in all is pathetic. It's pathetic. Reddit isn't losing money, and the claim that they're losing money on this when they are themselves saying they're making millions quarterly is insane. Like, sure, they possibly shouldn't have to take the brunt of these APIs, but they're overcharging for something that isn't even putting them in the negatives. It's ridiculous. Anyway, that's the first part of Spez lying. There will be more in this video. Some folks are just different. I hit a 1.06% blood alcohol content. I wasn't a regular drinker, never puked, just a natural tolerance that I can't explain. Woke up the next morning and walked 5 miles home. However, I did proceed to stay in bed for like 2 days. There have only been 7 or 8 BACs recorded over 1.04 is typically fatal. You probably mean 0.106, which is drunk but not really hammered or anything. Nope, I mean 1.06. I am aware of how unbelievable that is. It's a miracle I survived. No medical attention either. I think the only reason I survived was a long story, but I essentially ended up in a physical fight for like 3 hours, riding on pure adrenaline. I think this kept me breathing and my heart beating. I was at a 0.11 over 24 hours later. 28 beers, which I remember well. Then I chugged half a 1.75 of Kharkov vodka over the course of 12 hours. Woke up on the lawn, 48 units at 170 pounds, should have been dead in the grass. Yeah, you're a liar. I mean, this person has said there have been 8 ever recordings of people going over 0.04, and it's fatal. Like, also, 28 beers is insane. Like, insane. And not even just for the alcohol content, but for the sheer volume, okay? Like, let's look up. What is 28 pints to liters? That's 16 liters. 16 liters of beer. How much liquid can the human stomach hold? 4 liters of food and fluid. Like, that's already one of the most blatant lies in the whole thing. But yeah, on top of that, your blood alcohol content, you should be dead. You would be dead. Like this whole lie. Not to mention, you would not have the physical capacity. You wouldn't be standing, let alone in a fist fight. Like, let's be real here. You wouldn't be in a physical fight. You'd be on the floor halfway before you even got to that blood alcohol content. Like, not only that, but he's saying he was in that physical fight for 3 hours. 3 hours. It already wasn't a believable lie, but them trying to defend it and be like, no, this is how it's real, made it even less believable. This is so stupid. So right, we're back with Huffman. This is a post by The Verge. I'm not sure how long ago this was, but this should have really been the first sign that perhaps Huffman isn't a good CEO for the website, and the usage of power that he has, he's not using for the right things, okay? So, Huffman, who posts on the site as Spez, admitted to the transgression after being called out by users of r/TheDonald, saying he was inspired to edit the comments after a spat of insults emanating from the pro-Trump subreddit. I messed with the "fuck you Spez" comments, replacing Spez with r/TheDonald mods for about an hour, Huffman said, indicating that the only thing he secretly altered was the target of the insults. Spez's ego is so fragile and so tiny. He is a millionaire in the charge of one of the biggest forums on the whole of the internet, and he uses that power to just redirect insults. How pathetic is that? This man has so much power over one of the biggest forums in the world, and he uses it to redirect insults sent at him to other people. This should have been our first sign that perhaps Spez didn't have the website's best intentions at heart. I mean, r/TheDonald was a pathetic subreddit full of garbage, but even still, this is pathetic. Like, really? Come on. The website is gonna die, and Spez is the cause. And as much as he might try and blame other people for it, he is the cause. And it's so clear with all the things that he has done and is doing that he just wants money. Pride was never such a controversial thing when it was gay men and lesbians. Sure, there were issues, but no major public backlash till Pride also meant celebrating people with mental health disorders who bully those who disagree with them. You literally used to say that gay people had mental health disorders, and you probably still think it. Nobody should buy this obviously self-serving telling of history where you and the country thought homosexuality was no big deal and not like these trans issues today. Yep, I mean, it is just how conservatives work. Each new generation of issues, they push the blame and say the exact same things, okay? They brought up the slippery slope issue when it was interracial marriage. They brought up the slippery slope issue when it was gay marriage, and now they're bringing up the slippery slope stuff with trans people. But also, it's a flat out lie that Pride was never a controversial thing, because it always was. It was always a controversial thing, and conservatives have always hated people that don't fit into their cis het white people category, you know? It's always been an issue with anything that isn't that. But it's like they're saying that trans people weren't even a part of Pride, okay? But if you look it up, the first ever Pride parade happened in the 1970s, okay? In 28th of June, 1970 in New York. In fact, in New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, okay? Now, Stonewall happened 1 year prior to that. And you know who were famously at Stonewall? Trans people. Trans people have always been a part of Pride. Trans people were a part of the Stonewall riots and protests, and they have always been a part of the Pride marches and Pride parades. They have always been a part of it, and conservatives have always hated gay and trans people. Nah, this is ass. Who drew that? Me. My phone loves glitching, so the time says 0, but it took about a week. Wait, where's the second half of this image is missing? Hold on, there's more to this image. Where's the second half of this image? 1 second. Like the actual quit your bullshit part of the image is missing as well. Like, it's not even a small part of this image. Where is it? It's gone. Nah, this is ass. Who drew that? Me. My phone loves glitching, so the time says 0, but it took a week. Just reverse Google searched it. Why are you lying? Calvin. Because I like to lie and prank people. What a great gotcha moment. Like, oh, because I like to prank people. The thing with people that fake art is obviously if he hadn't been called out, he would have never confessed. But they always do this like, oh man, my art sucks. Look, this art that I did sucks, right? It's a good piece of artwork and you've stolen it and you're now saying that it sucks? You're double insulting here. Also, a wombo combo here for Calvin because I like to lie and prank people, so I'm thinking we got a bit of a fake disorder cringe thing going on here too. Just a theory, but the doubly like, oh, I can't be blamed, it was my alter, right? It was Calvin. Stupid, pathetic. I give you the anti-theft on a budget for all you north side people. Was a customer's car. I mean, that's a cool concept actually. It locks over the pedals so someone can't drive it away. Was it really a customer's car? Because some dude on Reddit from Washington posted it like 2 years ago. Yeah, sure, you installed that on a customer's car, right? Why you lying? Why you lying, bro? I guess it's like a, hey, come to us and we'll install this for you. Lies, people lying on the internet. It always happens. To be honest, I don't even know how I managed to do this perfect shape. I also don't know, because that's pretty obviously not your own picture. Do they think it becomes more believable when they act just as surprised? Like, man, I don't know how I managed to do that. Look how impressive this is. I don't know how I did that. Like, do you think that makes it more believable? It doesn't, especially when reverse image search exists. And when something, it's not even how pristine the artwork on it is, it's how pristine the photo is as well. Like, reverse image search exists. It's existed for a long time. I don't understand how they don't think they're ever gonna get caught when reverse image search exists. We have the power of the internet. And the final post, we're leaving this on a real doozy, okay? We visited this shop today despite reading the reviews. The custard was mediocre at best, but the part that is really disturbing is what appears to be the owner's need to be combative with their patrons in the Google reviews. How is anyone to feel that they can honestly express their opinion of an establishment if the owner is going to do nothing but argue with them when they express them? It's honestly disgusting and shows that even owners of a franchised establishment, they are not able to receive constructive criticisms and apply them accordingly. With that being said, my 500k TikTok followers will now know where not to dine when passing through this area. I hate that they said that. Before we even continue, them bringing up my 500k TikTok followers as if anyone gives a shit. Like, fuck off with that, seriously. No one cares. But also, if you're going out and complaining about a custard place and telling them to avoid this place, to boycott this place, every single website like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all have in their terms of services that witch hunts are not allowed, okay? You are not allowed to witch hunt businesses with your followers. And if you have that many followers, you should know better. Seriously, it's pathetic. It's actually pathetic. Anyway, the business then went on to say, hello, I would like to put your complaint into perspective so that the readers have an understanding of the entire circumstance. We are a small shop and rely on volume since we're merely selling custard and related treats. We are not equipped to hold parties, especially when we were never given notice. At other establishments, there is a charge for renting all or a portion of the store or restaurant because keeping a space closed for a party costs the establishment money. I was not aware that you were planning to have a party at my shop, nor did you contact me ahead of time to find out if we could accommodate you, if there would be a rental fee, or if we even had openings for your event at that time. As we all know, that is the standard process for having a space held for a party at a restaurant, hall, bar, shop, etc. Instead of extending those common courtesies, you and your party showed up impromptu with expectations of throwing a party at my small custard shop. I simply asked if you could move the party to one side of the shop so that other customers could come in and have a place to sit. So, this person, already pathetic enough to threaten with their followers and say that they're going to tell their followers to boycott this store, this person turned up to this store unannounced with a party that they had not scheduled for, they had not asked if could facilitate, and expected to be facilitated. And when asked something as simple as, could you at least move it over here so that other customers can be served, you threatened them with your 500,000 subscribers. It was already pathetic at the original review, but now that it has context, it is so incredibly pathetic. I doubt the person who wrote that review will ever see this, but if you do, you are pathetic. Quote me on that. You are pathetic. And that's where I'm gonna end the video. Oh boy. If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. Oh boy. Wow. That was something. Special thank you to all of the YouTube members and patrons that do support the channel. All of you are incredible, wonderful, amazing people. It means so much. You pay for our electricity bills, especially now that we have a dragon. Is the dragon still awake? She is. Someone in the comments asked me to show the dragon. She's called Koshek, by the way. She's Leo's, but obviously both of ours now that she lives with us. So this is Koshek. This is our little beardie. So this is who you help pay for when you support my Patreon. So yeah, special thank you to all of the people that do. That's all I have to say. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.